Good morning. Thank you for being here this morning. I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Farah Al-Alwani. Dr. Farah Al-Alwani is a general dentist at MOH since 2006. She is internationally certified, more than 500 hours yoga and meditation instructor and a life coach. Dr. Farah has been providing a group classes and private coaching sessions since 2013 that have helped people develop work-life balance as well as emotional calmness, mental clarity, and motivation for healthy and happy lifestyle. Today, she will be sharing with us her expertise in self-coaching for stress-free living. With that, I ask that you give your full attention to Dr. Farah. Dr. Farah, the mic is yours.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I am so excited to be here today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for making this time to be here with me for this, let's say, 75 to 90-minute session. So this session is for you. So it is interactive. I highly encourage you to interact with me. You may ask me questions in the chat. You may even feel called to speak as well by unmuting yourself. That is perfectly fine. Okay. And I hope that if you have any questions regarding the material or even just asking for coaching tips for yourself, please reach out and ask me because this session is for you. All right. So before we begin, I ask you please to just mute your mics for the moment. Turn off any, if you're not using your phone, turn it off, remove any distractions. Turn off any other apps that are on your Zoom, on your iPads or anything, and come with an open mind. So I've put in my years of experience that incorporates the science so that we can talk to the mind so that things make sense to you. And there's a part where you are going to experience some of the teachings as well through the exercises. So take whatever works for you, leave whatever doesn't work, okay? And if you have a pen and paper handy, keep it next to you so that you can take notes. There's a part in this webinar where you can participate and start making your own notes just for yourself so that you can practice these self-coaching tools as we are right now, okay? So let us begin by just sitting tall. Roll the shoulders back a few times. I don't know where you have been. Maybe you're in the clinic, maybe you're at home. So let us just bring our attention and full awareness here to the present, right here and now. And how do we do that? We just begin to roll the shoulders a few times back, just opening up the chest, opening up the shoulders. You know, a lot of us hold so much tension in our necks, especially with technology and with our jobs. So we're just going to create some opening in our body by doing this. I know this is not the usual way that we start our webinars, but I just want to infuse some of what I know so that we can really make use of this time together. So drop your eyes downwards and just begin to place your palms on your knees. You can start to rub your legs, just bringing some presence to the body. This beautiful tool, the biggest tool that we have that helps us in every way that it can. So just bringing your awareness down, just rubbing your palms and bring your focus to your breath. Just become aware. How are you breathing today? Once you've rubbed your hands a few times, you can just sit still, noticing your feet on the ground, just bringing your awareness to the present moment. Just notice the inhale, notice the exhale. And let us begin by taking a breath in together, in through the nose, filling the lungs completely in all directions, holding at the top, and release from the mouth. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathing in from the nose, opening the mouth and sighing it out. Letting go whatever's on your mind. 1 more time, breathing in, holding at the top, opening the mouth and letting go. Setting our intention to be here right now in the present moment. Practice presence and awareness. All right. Now I think we're ready to start. So thank you so much for the introduction. As many of you know me, this is my passion. It helped me so much in my life. I needed this tool for my own sanity. And I know some of you have attended with me before, so I'd like to hear from you in the chat. How many of you have attended my lecture before? And how many of you are new to me? I'd love to know so that we can get to know each other as well. You have my social media handles. You can follow me there to know a little bit more. If you like what you're seeing, what you're feeling, let us connect and do more of that. So the best antidote to stress is resilience, which means having the ability to respond to change or adversity, proactivity, and resourcefully. So we're all going through different experiences in life. Life is all about change. That is the only constant. We know that. But how do we learn these tools to do it skillfully without losing our mind, without affecting our social interactions with people, without affecting the way that we see ourselves? Okay. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Stress is a physical factor. It may interfere with work performance and enjoying a sound and healthy lifestyle. It's very natural. We all go through it. But the issue is, how do we deal with these changes and develop the developments of life without affecting the quality of our lives and maintaining our health, especially as we've been through so much already with COVID, with the changes that have been happening on a global scale. And we are all aware of what's happening all the time. The main goal for you is for you to have some scientific and practical background and ability to lead yourself, to coach yourself from a state of stress and anxiety to a state of calm and balance by practicing these simple and effective self-led techniques during the golden times of the day. What do I mean by the golden times of the day? That means over the years, I've been doing this for 10 years, and I started off doing practices that took me between an hour and 2 hours a day. And then as I started to grow my family and I had more kids and more responsibilities, I realized that I didn't have more than 60 minutes of uninterrupted time. And technically, actually, what I did realize is the more we incorporated small tools, small techniques that took 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, different times of the day, the more the results lasted longer, the more I was able to bring myself to a state of calm more often during the day. And why do we want to be in a state of calm? You tell me. I'd love to know, what are the different situations that are causing you stress in your daily life? I'd like to know, what are the things that are your biggest triggers? The ones that cause you to lose focus, the ones that cause you to get emotionally reactive, the ones that may even cause you to have major issues in your life that affect your performance. So please leave them for me in the chat, and I'll go back to that in a moment so that we can really discuss these things. So what are we going to learn today? Four main things. We're going to learn how stress affects your brain and your body. I know that most of you here are dentists, so you've all studied physiology 101 in university. We're just going to brush up on that, and then I'm going to give you some updated research, some new information that you may or may not have access to. Okay, children playing around me while I'm trying to read. Yes. So the second thing that we're going to talk about is recognizing how you react under stress. Why? Because each one of us reacts so differently under stress. So we're going to talk about the 4 ways in which we react so that you can identify what happens to you. Number 3, discuss how to rewire a stressed and anxious brain towards calm and resilience using the heart-brain concept. Number 4, practice effective self-coaching tools to manage the stresses of daily life. Sounds like fun, huh? It's one of my passions to talk about these things. Especially I love talking to moms. A lot of my clients are moms who are juggling work-life balance. Part 1, the impact of stress on our daily lives. So this is just a bit of research that I like to put in. The Swedish Dental Association claims that due to our occupational hazards as dentists, we live 10 years less than the total population of the country on average because of all the psychological factors that we are subjected to. You know what it's like when you're in the clinic and the first thing the client says or the patient says to you is, I hate being here. I hate dentists. My last dentist did this, or I'm so scared to be here. right? We all know how that feels. You feel like a burden has been placed upon you to do some kind of magical tricks for them, right? So I know that that's something that I used to feel like it was my responsibility to make sure that my hands were light when I worked, to make sure that I was really just really quick and fast. So eventually it causes emotional exhaustion, tension, sadness, and anxiety. And imagine this is Sweden, where it's supposed to be like a place where they have the best quality of life. Another journal published by the British Dental Journal in 2019, they found that in the UK, a fifth of the dentists have seriously thought about committing suicide. A fifth, that means 1 out of 5 dentists. That is a large number. I don't know what the statistics are in Kuwait yet. I still have to find. I'd be curious to know how it is here in Kuwait, but I'm sure it's pretty roughly similar. I mean, if it's not 1 out of 5, it's probably 1 out of 10. We do have a lot going on in Kuwait, and we need to face the facts. The only way that we can change something is by having the awareness. That is your number one way of changing something that doesn't work for you anymore. Awareness, and then acceptance, and then taking responsibility for what is yours, what you can and cannot change. Okay. Right. I don't like it when patients stress before starting procedure. Yes, especially, this is interesting. So I'm gonna read this one. Yeah, there we go. I don't like it when patients stress before starting the procedure, especially if before scaling. Yes, yes. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. So we're gonna talk about that. So stress. We all know what stress is, right? Stress is a physical, mental, or emotional factor that causes bodily or mental tension. It can be something external, as the doctor said, from a patient that's coming in, or it could be internal, like perhaps you're going through some chronic issue. I know a lot of dentists have a lot of slip discs. They have disc issues, so they're worrying about their seating. They're worrying about maybe if they have children they have to pick up. They're worrying about when they're going to go and do other things, pick up their kids and so forth. So that we do have a lot of things to think about in the clinic, and we're always multitasking. It's like we're driving all the time because we're using our minds to evaluate a situation. We're using our hands to operate our devices, and we're using our feet as well. And we're also having to be aware of all our surroundings. We have a nurse that's working with us. We have a moving human being underneath us we're just anticipating their every move, right? So don't underestimate how much energy it takes for you to be a good dentist, to be even a good human, right? Because you want to do what's best for everyone, yeah? But just know that stress affects everyone. It's not like there's something wrong with you because you're not handling it. No, stress affects everyone, but it affects everyone differently. And those of us who are highly sensitive, those of us who are overthinkers, those of us who are really passionate and ambitious, we always want to do our best, right? We take our jobs to heart. We know that people are coming to us because they want some kind of relief. It affects us a little bit more than others. Okay, so just to let you know that you are not alone in this. And sometimes you look at others who are completely cold. We don't want to get there. We don't want to get to the point where we're just observing or looking at people as if they're just objects, because they're not. We're humans. We have to always remember the human behind the job that you're doing, the human behind the pain that they're experiencing, the human behind the anxiety, the anxious person who's coming to you, right? So it is our responsibility as leaders, because you are the leader of your clinic. It's your responsibility to lead the whole situation, right? It's your job. It's not anyone else's job. It's not the nurse's job. It's not the patient's job. They can only come to you with what they know. And it's our job to know better, to strive to do better, okay? So I just want to motivate you, to tell you that you have it within you. You can do it. So not all stress is bad. We know that. Sometimes we need some stress, good stress, to help us to get motivated, right? But long-term stress can cause harm on our health. Okay, and we're going to talk about that now. And if it gets too much, please consult someone. Consult a healthcare professional, a therapist, psychologist, a psychiatrist, a coach. Go out there. We have so many brilliant people here in Kuwait, and you can access people online as well, but don't sit with it alone, okay? So human performance curve, as you can see, this is the curve that shows us stress against performance. So if you look at the green portion, here we're slightly, you see when there's too little stress, this is, I could say this is something like when you're on vacation and the vacation it takes a long, like you're there for over a month. It gets a little boring, right? Like, or you're in between jobs and you're waiting for a job. There's too little stress, you're inactive, you start to get laid back. However, when something starts to pop up, for example, if you're looking for a job and then you start to hear of clinics that are trying to find dentists and you start to apply, then you start to get excited. There's a bit of optimum stress. And then you reach here at the top where you're like, okay, you got a job, but there's too many clients, too many patients in the waiting room, okay? And then it just gets to be a bit too much. So you can see it's a very fine line between being inactive, laid back, and then you get to this point, this breaking point where there's fatigue. Perhaps it's like 12 p.m. and you've already seen like 15 patients, you've done about 10 fillings, 4 pulpectomies, and that's it. A client comes in and they're like, please, you need to help me. And that's it. And you're just reaching that point, okay? And as you can see, it's downward from there. Too much stress, leading to burnout. So we're trying to figure out our own personal optimum levels of stress that keep us feeling good, motivated to go to work, to do our job. Where and when does it get too much? When is it, you know what, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, my back hurts, my hands are spasming, I can't do this. Yeah, we want to reach ourselves before we get to the exhaustion phase, the orange phase. So as we said, we talked about good stress. Can you give me examples of good stress? What is good stress for you? So I'd like to hear your suggestions in the chat. I have this image here, going to the gym. I love to go to the gym. To me, that's good stress, even though I have to wake up super early to go to the gym, but it feels good when I'm doing it. It feels good when I'm done. I know if you're just starting out with a new practice, it doesn't feel good because it's overwhelming. It's too much, but you know that the end result is going to serve you. So it feels good. That is the idea of good stress. Can you give me more examples of that before I show you the rest? Do you have good examples of good stress in the clinic, in your workload, in your working environment? When does it feel good for you? It's important for you to recognize this. And if it's all bad, then we need to have a private discussion on that. Yeah. Okay, so I don't have any suggestions here. I'm gonna keep going. So positive personal stressors, starting a new job, voluntarily, okay, decided to shift your career, yeah, receiving a promotion or a raise at work, yeah, for example, if you're in the clinic and you got promoted to clinic leader, you know, at the beginning, it's like, oh my goodness, I have so many responsibilities, but it feels good because you know that someone trusted you to give you that role, right? Good stress when I end the procedure and the patient feels happy after being stressed out. I love it. I love it. Yes, because you know that it was worth it in the end. Yeah. So as we said, it's not stress that kills us, it's our reaction to it. All right. Another important thing that I want to talk about is anxiety. Okay. So anxiety feels similar to stress, but anxiety is a feeling of worry or nervousness or unease about some future event that's happening, something with an uncertain outcome, you know? So if you have like a vacation coming up, even a vacation can be stressful. That's a type of good stress. You're planning for it, but you're a mom and you have to pack all those little kids' bags and you have to make sure everything's in order. You have to make sure you have your Panadol on the plane. You have to make sure that you have your tissues, your Dettol wipes. You have to, you know, you're thinking about all these different things that may or may not happen. That is what anxiety is. It's something that is in the future. And this is something that can become even like a personality kind of characteristic that can happen, you know, and it's meant to help you, right? You're thinking about the future because you think, I want to make sure that all the details are covered. You know, when you're in your clinic, you want to make sure that if you're a team leader, you want to make sure that you have all your instruments. You want to make sure that you have all your dental materials there, you know, or maybe you're waiting for an order to come through and it hasn't come through and you're like worrying about it. Yeah, that is anxiety. And anxiety actually comes hand in hand with depression. So this is something that I studied in my 300-hour advanced yoga training. How do we deal with anxiety and depression using yogic tools such as breathing, meditation, movement, because we can actually resolve these things in these natural ways. And for me, it was always a huge thing. I do struggle with anxiety. And this is something that has helped me immensely. I know that if I put in 10 minutes of movement, 15 minutes of movement in my day, I'm good to go. If I put in an hour, wow. If I put in an hour, I'm a completely different person. If I do have that hour, I will do it because it helps me. And when I am calm, I'm the center of the roles that I play. We play so many roles. We wear so many hats. If I'm good, everything else flows. Okay. Now, burnout. Burnout is the end stage. That is when you're completely empty. You've gone through so many life changes. You just feel exhausted. Maybe it's the end of the week. Maybe you feel this on a weekly basis. Maybe at the end of the week, you always feel tired, exhausted. You don't care anymore. You don't see any positive thing to look forward to. There's no hope, right? This is like the extreme of stress. This is when it's been going on for so long and you've been ignoring it. Yeah, we cannot ignore these things. Flat filling that don't have shown carvings makes me anxious. Okay. Okay. We have to differentiate as well. What is my responsibility? What is not? Like if the filling is done, if you can help, if you can do something about it, then you do it. But we always need to focus on the priority. Yeah. So just become aware of when your mind starts to take you into all these dark places where you feel like I cannot do anything about this. Yeah. Always go back to what can I change? What is my responsibility? What can I do about the situation now? Is it important? Is it vital? Is it a priority? If the patient comes in and they have some other issue, forget the flat filling, because as you said, if you're going to think about it, that every thought, energy follows thought. So every thought that you have will bring more thoughts. You know, it's going to be like a snowballing effect. So that's why it's so important to start your day with as much as you can, clear mind, clear focus. What are your priorities today? What are your priorities when you're entering the clinic? Okay, so that your mind our mind has a tendency to be all over the place. It's like a wild horse. Yeah. All right. So the direct effects of stress on the body, we know, like I know as dentists, we feel this the most, but how do you recognize that you are feeling stressed out? Your body will tell you. It will not ignore it. You'll start to find shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, muscle spasms. You know, for me, my hands start to spasm. And then you'll notice that if you've been on this pattern for a while, you'll start to get a cold, you start to get flu, headaches. Some people get headaches and migraines immediately. Some people have digestive issues, stomach ulcers. Some people just feel tired. They're just tired. They just want to sleep all the time. So recognize which of these is the first sign. It's like your body saying, hello, hello, I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good. Stop, please stop. So notice which one of these 5 signs do you have. You may get all of them, and you may get some more than others. And this is okay. This is just, let's say, it's the alarm. It's the alarm on your car dashboard. It's the signal that says, hey, you're out of fuel, you're out of fuel. This is your first warning sign. Please listen. Please listen to it and immediately find a way to de-stress, to shake it off, and explore beyond just taking Panadol or a painkiller to numb the symptoms. Because these are symptoms that are telling you something else is going on. Something else is calling for your attention. especially if it's on a daily basis. Start to question yourself. Why is this happening? What is happening? I wonder if this is a sign. What is my body telling me? You know? Psychosomatic effects of stress, insomnia, inability to sleep, or inability to stay asleep, waking up continuously through the night, inability to focus. And sometimes your family will tell you, listen to me, you're not focusing. I've told you this 5 times, why won't you listen? Right? Which affects our relationships. Yeah. Indecisiveness. Just notice, I mean, some of us, we're perfectionists, so it's hard to make a decision, but distinguish when you can't even decide. You look at a menu and you don't even know what to eat, right? Or someone says, let's hang out, and you can't even decide what time, where, what, when. So notice, that means that you need a break. You need to find a way to de-stress. Irritability, anger, aggression, self-isolation, loneliness, poor self-esteem, lack of motivation. I know that we're coming off of COVID. I know that we've come off a while, but we kind of got into a habit, a routine of being a certain way. So now slowly life is shifting. I know that we've gone back to reality, but the change on a mental level, it takes us a while. Like the brain, for new neural pathways to happen, for changes and shifts to happen in your brain, it takes about 6 months. So it's slow for us to adjust to change on a mental level, on a physiological level. But just be aware of that so that you can do something about it. And you know the long-term effects: heart problems, high blood pressure, diabetes, even cancer, and autoimmune diseases. These are all related to certain ways of dealing with life. And look around to your family. My biggest motivation for me to exercise my body was my parents, you know, because they have a variety of these. And I said to myself, I don't want to have these diseases. I know that maybe I'm genetically predisposed to it, but I'm going to look for solutions of dealing with the way I look at life, the way I deal with life. That was my motivating factor. You know, I love my parents so much, and they did everything for us, right? And they love us so much, and maybe they worried a little bit too much, and maybe they thought about and planned things, and, you know, we're human beings, we get affected. But it's how we deal with it when the situation is resolved. How do we find new solutions? So I wonder how you react to stress. Have you noticed any of these symptoms? Right. So let's do a little role playing. We'll do a little role playing here. We have a scenario. Okay. Imagine that you have your alarm on. Let's say you're supposed to wake up at 5 a.m. and you woke up at 7. You're supposed to wake up at 5. The alarm didn't go off. You're so tired. You woke up at 7. So you're already late. You need to be in the clinic within half an hour, right? You get up and you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I'm late, right? You get in your car, you just rush, you put on whatever, you get in your car, your body's already reacting, and you're driving and you're trying to get there really fast, and you get stuck in traffic. Okay. And then you eventually, when you get to work, this is the waiting room that you find yourself in. And not only that, but you finally open your WhatsApp and everyone has their situation and you're the only one there in the clinic. So just me telling you the story, how are you feeling? Just imagine, I'm sure some of you have been through at least one of these scenarios. I know I'm exaggerating, you know, it would be a horrible day. I know you would think, oh my God, that's so horrible. I'm already late and the streets are crowded and I get there and there's so many patients and they're waiting for me. I'm the only person there. How do you feel? I want to know how you feel. How would you react? What is the first thing that goes on in your mind? What are you feeling in your body? What are you feeling emotionally? I know that there's some dialogue going on in your head, right? I know there's something that's, there's some thoughts in your head. What I want for you is just to be aware of that. Those automatic thinking responses that we're used to having and thinking day in and day out. I start smiling all over, okay? Interesting. You start smiling. Okay, you start smiling, and then do you do something about it? Do you like, are you rushing? Do you see yourself rushing to work? Do you see yourself smiling and just chilling and going really slowly? That's what I want to hear. I want to know that. I'd love to know from the participants. We have 32 participants here. I mean, 31. I'm the 32nd. I want to know. I want to know from you. I want this to be active, because in order for you to really embody some of this information, some of these practices, really get it, we need to process it internally. We don't just process in our minds. Yeah. I'm going to wait another 30 seconds and see if anyone else wants to participate. You can even open the mic and talk. We're all friends here. Okay, let's go back. Anyone? You know, if this was a live workshop, I would get people to role play. That's what I would do. Yay. Smiling, deep breathing. Okay. Is that the first thing you would do, VCAS? You would wake up and you would start deep breathing? Tell me what's in your mind. Like, what are the thoughts that are coming for you? Oh my God, I'm late. Oh my God, how did I do this? How could this happen to me? Oh my goodness, what? Why did I stay up late? Or is it, okay, you know what? It's okay. I'm fine. I'm good. I can do this. Or you know what? I think it's too late for me. It's already like 7:10. I'm just going to call in sick. What is it? Smiling and calming the patients, because if I stressed, I will do a really bad job. Okay. Okay. I remember when I would wake up late, the thoughts that would come to me would be horrible. Oh my God, I did it again. I can't believe I didn't put the alarm. I shouldn't have, da-da-da-da. I'd get up, I'd put my clothes on. I'd be like, oh my goodness, I need to go. I would like really clench the steering wheel. I wouldn't be able to think straight. I would drive really fast. I would feel so anxious in my body. Emotionally, I would feel like I was all in my head. I couldn't feel, I could feel my heart racing. I would start to drop things. The number of times I would like probably drop my keys. I would start swearing, maybe. I would start to get angry at people. Yeah. There are times where I would be like banging on the steering wheel. I mean, come on, guys, we're human. I'm not going to pretend I'm an angel, right? Or I would be like calling someone and shouting at them. Yeah, this is all stress response in the body. We're not robots. We're made of mind, body, emotions. And then I'd get to the clinic, and then maybe I would start to like, as I'm walking, after I learn my tools, maybe as I'm walking up the stairs, it's okay, I can do it, I can handle it, it's fine. Everything is fine, right? So it's a series of things. Another person, as I said, might be like, oh gosh, it's 7:10, and then scrolling through their WhatsApp, oh, the sick leave, sick leave, sick leave. I'm not going to work. I'm not dealing with this. No. I'm not going to exhaust myself. No. I'm just going to sick leave, ding, sick leave done. I don't care what happens. That's a reaction. Someone else could be like, oh, I wonder if I could do it. Yalla, let's go. Inshallah. Inshallah, ya Rab. Yeah, I hope it's going to be okay. Yalla, let's just go and everything's going to be fine. And then in the traffic light, be like, breathing, oh, it's fine. Maybe start calling their colleagues who are like, please, can you just come early? I know you got a permission, but can you please help out? It's, please, right? And they'd get to the clinic and they'd be like, hello, everyone. It's inshallah, I'm sorry I'm late, and start working, Someone else might be like, completely different reaction. So we all have different reactions. Let's talk about the bodily things that happen. So what happens to you? We go into fight or flight, right? Your heart races, you're breathing shallow, we start to sweat, we start to shake, we panic, we get irritable, we get frustrated. So as I said, you might get dry mouth, and your thoughts start to get really fast, and maybe think of the worst case scenario. And you may even get into, some people would even get into a car crash, right? It's happened to me before. It's happened to me before. I came out of my MFD exam. I did this exam, and I used to handle exams really badly. Like, I came out and I was so anxious. I was driving and talking at the same time to my mom, because in the practicum, as I was doing my stitches, I cut myself. You know, I cut myself with the blade. And the examiner just stared at me. She didn't even offer me a tissue, and I was already anxious. And then, you know, and that's how it went. And then as I got in the car, and we had 2 hours break, I was driving and I wasn't aware of the street, and I was talking to my mom, and I was so afraid I crashed into someone. You know, that's how bad it was for me. That's how bad it was. I couldn't know how to calm myself down. I didn't even know what was happening. Right. So I spent the 2 hours like in the police station trying to get things sorted. And I had no recollection of what happened because I was so anxious. I couldn't remember what happened. Yeah. And of course, by that time, I had to go back. I grabbed the sandwich. I went back, and I was super calm because, you know, all that energy that was within me found an outlet, and I was finally able to calm down. So we don't want to get to that stage. We don't want a physical reaction to happen in the outer world to get us to pause and de-stress, to let go. We want to catch it early. We want to understand what's happening and be motivated to change it. So fight or flight, we've all studied fight or flight. These are the things that happen automatically. And some people, as I said, these are the different responses that can happen. So some people will go into fight where they start to get anxious, they clench their fists, they start to get aggressive, they start to fight with people, they start to shout, right? And this happens in the clinic as well, between patients and doctors, right? When they're both stressed out and they're both in the situation where one of them has been waiting for 2 hours and the other one, the doctor, has been maybe for whatever reason stressed out, they start to clash, they start to fight, and then they go to the police station, right? And then lawsuits and all kinds of fun stuff, right? That's the fight response. Some people will run away, like the person who saw all the late notice and said, you know what, I'm not going to work today. I'm not going to do that, you know? Or someone in the middle of the argument with the patient will be like, I'm not talking to you, and they just walk away. And they're not doing it because they're rude. They're doing it because it's their body's response towards a stressful situation. So a stressful situation is like your mind is afraid, you do not feel safe, and you feel like something really bad is going to happen. What am I going to do about it? I don't know what to do, right? One person's gonna be like, come to me, you know? The other person's going to be like, I'm not dealing with this. Another person will be like, freeze, like completely like freezing. So, and these are the symptoms. And the last would be fawning, which is something that is new, we've discovered, which is trying to please people, right? Like smiling to the patients. It's okay, you know what, we can handle it. And that's okay in that situation. But there are other situations in our life where it's not healthy for us to be always people pleasing, right? You see a dangerous situation and you're like, it's okay, calm down, we can handle it. I'll do it for you. What do you want? Are you worried? I'll do it for you. You know, always being overly nice. That is another response. Dr. Aman. Hello, Dr. Aman. Okay. So the aim for you is to recognize which of these responses do you automatically do when you are faced with a life-threatening situation or a super stressful event. So these are, again, just some more information. This is a visual. Some of us are visual. Okay, fight, flight, freeze, which is pausing, stalling, planning, preparing, and fawning is pleasing others. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so part 2, how to rewire a brain towards calmness and positive focus. I'd love to hear from you. What do you do when you're stressed out? What is what is your response? How do you handle it? For the moms out there, imagine that you finished your shift, you're picking up your kids from school, they're in the car, they start fighting, there's traffic, and you're like, what do you do? How do you deal with it? So, yeah. So what do you do in the situation? How do you calm yourself down? It could be after the situation. It could be after, like after you're done with your day, at the end of the day, let's say. What do you do? When all your kids are asleep, you don't have anyone calling you anymore, you don't have any complaints from anyone, you're just alone. What do you do? How do you switch back from fight or flight to rest and digest? How do you switch off your sympathetic nervous system? How do you do that? Because our nervous system, our bodies are always trying to have a balance. We're trying to balance everything out. So what is your activity towards balance? Watching TV and drinking coffee. Do you drink coffee at night? Okay. No judgment. I'm not judging you. I always have this curiosity. How do people drink coffee and sleep? How do they do it? Maybe they have different sensitivities. I know there's people who have different sensitivities to coffee, but coffee is a stimulant. So coffee isn't designed to calm your nervous system. It's designed to keep you up, to keep you alert, to keep you awake, gives you a boost of energy, right? So it's not the best thing to do at the end of the day. If you want to calm down, if you want to de-stress, if you want to relax, if you want to wash away everything and stay all day long. Okay, yeah. I understand. I completely understand. Okay, babe. I can't sleep and I feel sorry for the next day. Okay. So that's a habit that you have control over. Well, Ramadan is coming, so we're all going to be drinking coffee when the sun goes down. But suggestions for you, if you like the taste of coffee, if it's an association for you, then you can drink decaf, right? But I would suggest, I mean, if you were open to it, would be to switch to a herbal drink. Yeah, because we need our sleep. Sleep is so important for us. And the research has been saying recently that it is so important for us to have at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep, depending on your body type. It helps us to recover from life's daily events. It helps our bodies, minds, our souls to recover from everything. So as you know, homeostasis is a dynamic balance between the autonomic branches. So just as we have fight or flight, we have rest and digest. And it's important for us to be aware of the two systems, because if one of them is off balance, as I said, you'll go into, you're driving your body into overboard. And that's what's gonna cause on the long term, like long-term damage in your brain and your organs, you know, and your vitality. So let's talk about the brain. I love this theory, okay, because it was a new theory to me. We all know about the nervous system and we all know how it works, but let's talk about the brain. And let's talk about how do we activate the logical brain. Okay, so here you have the diagram. We know that, let's see, I can use my cursor. We have this part of the brain, which is the stem, which is the reptilian brain. And this is the part of us that regulates our blood pressure, our heartbeat, our breathing. It's the automatic, robotic part of us that works all the time. We have no control over it to a certain extent. It's just there and it's working, right? And this is the survival part, as you see here. It's the crisis. It's the part that gets triggered when we get stressed out. Why? Because it's a series of reactions that happens in the mind and the body. So this is where it starts. And then we have the limbic system, which is here, the orange side. And this is the emotional part of the brain, the emotional or feeling brain. This is where your memory is stored. This is where your emotional reactivity is. And it's always asking why. And then we have the neocortex, or the prefrontal cortex, which is your rational or thinking brain, which is the how, right? And here at the front, the prefrontal is the what. So when we are in crisis mode, when we're stressed out and we're in survival and we're trying to like save our lives or stay alive, we're predominantly working from these two parts, the reptilian and the limbic side, the crisis, the why, the emotional, right? And when we've calmed down, maybe when we're in a calmer state, when it's not a life-threatening situation, then we can think rationally. But we sometimes cannot wait until we've calmed down, because sometimes if we've been in fight or flight all our lives, it's just a pattern of living that we're living in. We're always in fight or flight. We're not unable to rest. As Dr. Arwa said, she drinks coffee at night because it doesn't feel safe for her to let go, to rest, right? So that's what we're talking about today. How do we activate that part of us, even during crisis? Okay. So this is another beautiful thing that, which is the Heart Math Institute. So we talked about the brain and the different parts of the brain. Now let's talk about the heart and the heart-brain connection. So it was thought that the brain controlled all the bodily functions of the body. We thought it was the brain that controlled everything. But also now they've discovered that the heart is actually highly influencing the brain. Okay. Science-driven research has verified this. And then the heart has connections with major organs, the hormonal systems and the nervous systems too. So this is good news for us. Okay. The heart is an information processing center with its own functional brain. It's called the heart brain. So imagine that the heart has a connection to the brain, and we can actually start to bring the information in through the heart instead of it coming from the brain. The heart is the most powerful source of electromagnetic energy in the human body. Imagine it produces the largest rhythmic electromagnetic field, 60 times greater in amplitude than the brain's electrical magnetic activity. So if we can activate the heart, which is 60 times greater in amplitude than the brain, then that's like a quick fix, right? We can quickly switch things off. We can hack the body, basically. So this is a beautiful image. So during stress and negative emotions, the heart rhythm is erratic and disordered. We already talked about that. We already talked that your heart rate gets faster. Not only faster, but it gets disorganized, right? And that sends neural signals to the brain to inhibit higher cognitive functions. That means that it's telling the brain to shut down the executive thinking, the executive mind, the part of us that we actually need it to function. We're sending a signal that says, body, you're in danger, run. So when you're running, you cannot think. That's what happens. So it limits our ability to think clearly or remember or learn or reason or make effective decisions. Like I know that some of you have been in, that's why at the beginning I said, let's come into center, let's calm down, let's slow down the breath so that you're able to listen to me, able to remember, able to retain information. I mean, you don't have an exam after this. So I hope that, you know, but sometimes we cannot even think. And that is the reason why, because our heart's input to the brain affects our brain's emotional processing. So it actually reinforces the emotional experience of stress, right? Does anyone have any questions? If anyone has any questions, any comments, please leave them in the chat as well. So I love visuals, and this is just a visual of what's happening at your heart rate level. Now let's talk about a calm heart. In contrast, the more ordered and stable pattern of the heart's input to the brain when you're having positive emotional states, it actually helps you to think clearly. It facilitates the cognitive function. It reinforces the positive feelings and emotional stability, right? This means that learning to generate an increased heart rhythm coherence, which means, as you can see in the image, it's pretty stable, it's pretty even, yeah? Then you're able to think more clearly, you're able to perceive the world in a different way, you're able to perform in a better way, right? By sustaining those positive emotions. If we're going to put them side by side, you can see a clear difference here. Clearly, you can see that. Okay. So those are the different patterns, right? So how do we do that? How do we hack the heart? I'm going to show you this video by the HeartMath, the scientific foundation of the HeartMath system.
Math tools and techniques really help you access the intelligence of the heart so we can make better choices in the moment and really navigate these stressful times. What we hear from people across the world, across all professions, is that stress, anxiety, and overwhelm are really out of hand. And a lot of this is due to so much change that's happening. And the way our brains work, we don't like change. Humans do not like change, especially unexpected change or change that we're not in control of. And as it turns out, one of the most effective ways to really reduce stress and anxiety and even feelings of overwhelm is to learn how to access the intelligence of the heart and shift the rhythms of the heart, which sends a different neural message to the brain. So one aspect of our research is really focused on developing simple, practical, user-friendly tools and techniques that allow people to really manage their stress. So a lot of people, probably even today, if you think about it, have had a situation where you were being told to do something or you wanted something, but there was a deeper sense or a deeper feeling that it's probably not the best choice. That's what I mean by that lack of alignment. That can really be a huge source of stress for people until they learn how to really get the alignment between the heart and brain. This is where coherence comes in. That's when the heart, mind, and emotions are aligned and working together harmoniously. Our basic research done here at the HeartMath Research Center focused more on the physiology of how the heart and brain communicate. Interestingly, a lot of people are surprised to learn that the heart sends more information through the nervous system to the brain than the other way around. That sounds like some new discovery, but it's not. This has actually been known since the late 1800s, basic physiology. This is important because the quality of these signals sent from the heart to the brain have profound effects on brain function, our mental clarity, even our emotional experience. So the brain is largely interpreting the signals from the heart to create how we feel. So this is why we focus on the heart so much, because if you can shift the rhythms of the heart, you can quickly improve brain function, reduce feelings of anxiety, stress, overwhelm, and so on. But it takes a different doorway, the heart. So the HeartMath tools and techniques are really designed to shift the rhythms of the heart, which changes the ascending information from the heart to the brain, which is absolutely necessary in order to establish a new baseline. And without establishing a new baseline, we really can't, it's impossible to have sustained change or improvements in our health and our emotional experience. So when we get our systems coherent and have the alignment between heart and brain, that's really when we access that deeper intuition that we have with guidance. So we have a new sense of clarity in a lot of decisions that can seem complex otherwise. Math tools and techniques really help you.
Okay. There we go. So I hope that was motivation enough for you to practice with me the self-coaching tools that I have for you. So tool number one, as one of the participants shared, was breathing. But what kind of breathing is going to help us the most? So there's so many different breathing techniques, right? And each one of them has a different function and has a different effect on our bodies. But the one that we're going to practice today is the coherent breathing. It's so simple. It's basically where you're breathing in and out of the nose for equal amounts of breath. So about 6 seconds. Okay, so how does it go? We breathe in through the nose for the count of 6, and then we breathe out to the count of 6. Are you ready to do it with me? Let's do it together and notice the effects of the body. If you have a Garmin watch, this is actually a built-in program in the Garmin watch where you have that exercise in. And it's recommended to do this for about, let's say, 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, so let us do that together. So let's sit any comfortable position that feels good to you. I know, I'm going to see your faces, but I'm not sure that I can. See, guy review. Nobody has their cameras on. That's okay. So let's begin by just sitting in a comfortable position, whatever feels good to you. Just rolling your shoulders back. Noticing how you're breathing. Let's breathe in through the nose, out of the mouth. Beautiful. Let's try that together now. Just breathing in through the nose. I'll count for you. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in through the nose. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And breathe out. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Last time, breathe in. And breathe out. Start to breathe naturally. I'd love to know how you're feeling. And of course, in your own time, you can do this during the golden hours. The golden hours would be when you wake up in the morning, in the middle of the day, perhaps while you're praying, or after your prayer, when you're seated after the prayer, because that's already a habit that you already do. You could do it when you get in the car, anytime. Okay, you could do it before you go to bed. And it's the practice of making something a habit. It's a practice of remembering to do it, even if it's setting the alarm. It's okay. You're going to do that a few times. You're going to set the alarm a few times during the day, and eventually you'll remember to do it on your own. You can do it as soon as you enter your clinic, before the first patient comes in. You can do it when the patient leaves, right? Simple things that you can do that will make a big difference. Another kind of breathing exercise could be the box breathing. I'm giving you the simplest ones that don't require a lot of numbers, but it's basically where you breathe in to the count of 4, you hold to the count of 4, and then you breathe out to the count of 4, and then you hold. And then you repeat like a box. And the breathing in and out is through the nose. Okay, we all know the benefits of breathing. You're increasing the oxygen capacity in your lungs. You're flowing the oxygen in every cell of your body, which helps you to think clearly. It helps you by calming down the nervous system. You're targeting the vagus nerve, which touches all the organs in the body. You're instantly sending a signal to the brain. I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm safe. Right? So many functions, so many beautiful benefits of this. Okay. So I'd like to take this opportunity to ask you to just sign in to get there's a link. There's going to be a link in the chat so that you can sign in, so that you make sure that you get your CME points. You can use your mobile number as the requested student ID. And note that if you're missing your sign-in, you will not get your certificate of attendance, and you'll miss out on the CME points. But no stress, you're going to get it, no worries. So just wait for that to pop up on the chat, and I request for you to do that when it comes up. Does anyone have any questions? We're not done. I'm just taking a mini break here. Does anyone have any questions about breathing, about anything that we went through? Feel free to drop them in the chat as well. There you go. Just going to give you a moment to do that. Actually, I need to do this too, by the way. Let me do it. Is everyone able to sign in? When you're done, just give me a thumbs up so that we can continue the last part. Good? Okay. Helen. The code is supposed to be your phone number, Just enter your phone number. Okay, good. Awesome. You can use this time to do your breathing exercise. Thank you so much. I know I said 6 seconds, you can do it for 5 seconds, you can do it for 4 seconds. It doesn't really matter, because if we're not used to breathing to the full capacity of our lungs, then we take it slowly and we start to expand. Also, it's important to notice how you are breathing. So notice if you're, as I was counting, if you're breathing super fast and unable to sustain it, notice if you can breathe a more regular way. So as you're breathing in with the same amount of capacity. And as you're doing that, you're noticing that your belly is expanding as you're breathing in. So you're noticing that expansion in the belly, and that you're breathing to the full capacity. The breath is coming into the belly as well, not just the top part of our chest, because that's what we're used to doing. This is called shallow breathing, when we're breathing only from the top parts. So we want to make sure that we're sending the breath all the way down into the belly. And even as we're exhaling out completely if we can, so that all that we're engaging the lower part of our lungs as well. So we're really just having that cleansing breath, and we're expanding the lungs in all directions. You can visualize that you have these 2 balloons and you're completely filling them up and they're expanding. So we're completely expanding. Yeah. All right. So you may have noticed, but by changing the breathing pattern, you can produce a different state of mind. Okay. Unconscious breathing is controlled by the part of the brain that is called the medulla oblongata, which is the brainstem, which we talked about before, the primitive part of the brain. That happens automatically. However, when we start to consciously breathe, just as we did just now, different parts of your brain start to work. So that comes from the cerebral cortex, the part of our brain that is the executive mind, the executive thinking. Okay. And that has the slowing down of the breath, has this relaxing and balancing effect on the emotions. Okay. So as we said, we are humans. We are made of mind, emotions, body, soul, right? So we're trying to calm down the emotions. So it has that effect in all the different parts of the brain. So we're calming down the limbic system, which is about the emotions. We're activating the executive thinking mind, the prefrontal cortex that gives us amazing solutions. So, in essence, by consciously breathing, you're controlling which aspect of the mind dominates, causing your consciousness to rise from the primitive, instinctual part to the more evolved part of our brain. So, breath controls body, mind, and emotions. It's really, really magical. It's really brilliant. It really is. So much I can't register in the chat. Okay. Me too. Which code? The code is your phone number. It gives me an error code. Okay. We have someone who's monitoring this. So if you could help them out, please, Dr. Yusuf. Thank you. So we know why breath is important. You know this: immune system defense, cognitive clarity, clarity of mind, essential healing powers. Yeah, we need oxygen to repair the body. Muscle management. Yeah, your muscles crave oxygen. Basics. And this is a visual for us that are visual of the square breathing. How do we do it? You inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. Okay. Who's ready for self-coaching tool number 2? This is from the heart math. So see, this breathing thing coincides also with the heart math, because they were talking about tools. The gentleman was talking about tools. So breathing is one of their tools. Emotions that people associate with the heart, such as care, compassion, gratitude, affect the heart's rhythm and the quality of the neural signals being sent to the brain. So self-coaching number 2 is gratitude. Okay, so let's do this exercise together. I want to stop the share so that I can see you. Okay, so how do we activate the heart? We talked about the breathing, number 1. Number 2 is the emotions. Getting into a state of gratitude. So let's do this together. If you have a paper and pen, or you can do it with me as we're doing it together. This is something that I teach a lot. We can even activate the heart by placing our right hand on top of the chest, the center of the chest, and the left hand on top. You can start to tap on the center of the chest. This activates the heart center also. Okay, so we're just tapping at the center of the chest, slow rhythmic tapping. Combine it with the breathing. You can feel free to write down your gratitude list, or you can just do it with me as a visualization. And then start to place one hand in the right hand and then the left hand on top, or whichever one feels good to you. Activating the heart center, just lowering your gaze, connecting with what brings you joy. Starting to breathe gently, rhythmically. And let us recall someone that we love so much. Perhaps a brother, a sister, a friend, a child, a husband, a wife. And just recall why you love them so much and why you're grateful for them being in your life. So you can start to list, I'm grateful for my partner. He always takes care of me. He supports me. He loves me. I'm grateful for my children because they make me feel love I've never felt before. I'm grateful for my mother. She's always there for me whenever I call her. I'm grateful for my friend who always buys me the sweetest gifts, who says the most beautiful words, who loves me no matter what. Maybe even going inwards, feeling grateful for your body, for your heart. I'm grateful for my heart that beats every single moment of every single day. And I don't even have to tell it what to do. It just does it. I'm grateful for my body because it's doing it the best it can. It's functioning. I can walk, I can talk, I can eat, I can hear, I can listen. I'm grateful for this moment that I can just be with myself and practice gratitude. And now let's be grateful for something universal in the world. Maybe I'm grateful that I live in Kuwait and I have access to internet, I have access to yummy food, I have a job. I'm grateful to my community that supports me, my family, my friends, my loved ones. And just flood yourself with all the people, the gratitude that you have for everything. Alhamdulillah, thank you, God, for everything you've given me. Alhamdulillah, for the blessing of being able to see, to live this life of abundance. Just allow yourself to get into that space and notice what happens in your body. How are you feeling? Noticing any subtle shifts. Maybe your shoulders are dropping. Maybe you're feeling a relaxation in your muscles. Maybe you're feeling a smile on your face. Or maybe you're not feeling anything. That's okay too. Maybe you're not able to get into the space. That's okay. Just be aware and get curious. Why can't I do this exercise? Why can't I feel grateful? What's happening? Love to hear from you in the chat, how this experience was for you. And slowly start to move your hands if they're on your chest, maybe shake your hands, maybe move your shoulders, maybe start to massage. And if you're feeling relaxed, then congratulations, good job. This was your doing. I didn't do it for you. And noticing how it's made a shift in your awareness. That's your gratitude exercise. So you can do this again in the morning, before you sleep. You can do it during the day. You can do it before you leave your clinic. You can do this with your loved ones. You can do like a gratitude journal and give it to someone that you love. Then you will feel amazing and they will feel amazing, right? Another one of the recommendations of the HeartMath Institute is doing some kind of loving kindness visualization or prayer. And here I'd like to share the Metta Bhavana one, which is a universal prayer of kindness and love. So it has 3 parts to it. The first part, we say it for ourselves. The second part is for someone that we love. And the third part is for the whole world. So let's say that together. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be free of suffering. May I be free of mental anxiety. May I live in peace. May my life be blessed with ease. So it's important for us to remember to pray for ourselves, right? And then let's pray for someone that we love. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free of suffering. May you be free of mental anxiety. May you live in peace. May your life be blessed with ease. And we can send this prayer to another part of the world. Maybe we can set an intention to send this prayer to Palestine, the children, families, and whatever they're going through, knowing that they will receive it because it's our intention to send them this with love. May we be happy. May we be healthy. May we be free of suffering. May we be free of mental anxiety. May we live in peace. May our lives be blessed with ease. So be it, and so it is. Thank you for sharing this practice with me. And again, you can take this and you can do it a few times a day. Notice how you feel now. Notice the emotions, notice the thoughts, notice how we're shifting. We're shifting into a different vibration. All right, so now let's talk about the self-coaching method by Brooke Castillo. This is basically really helpful because it's a summary of everything. And this theory talks about this idea that any problem that we have, we can solve it using this model. So it simplifies it because it helps us to filter everything so you can identify the cause immediately. The model is made up of 5 components: the circumstances, the thoughts, the feelings, the actions, and the results. Okay, so the circumstances are the facts that can be proven in a court of law. The circumstances are what happened, right? Those circumstances affect the thoughts. You know, the thoughts are sentences in your head. They're what you're thinking. They could be critical thoughts. They could be happy thoughts. They could be positive thoughts. They could be stressful thoughts. They could be any kind of thoughts, right? And those thoughts produce the feelings. The feelings are the vibrations in your body, what you're feeling right now. You know, maybe you're feeling joy, you're feeling calm, you're feeling a sense of peace. That's a feeling. And the feelings generate our actions. Actions are what we do or don't do or react to. And the actions that we do create and cause our results, which are the consequences or outcomes of your actions, inactions, and reactions. So we can see that this model fits most of our experience, right? So, and one affects the other. So how can we use this model? We can practice it now if you like. You write down on the side of the paper, CTFAR, and you can start anywhere. So, for example, I have a circumstance, which is I'm late for work. I'm the only person in the clinic. What is the thought that I would think about that? I'm late for work. Oh no, how am I going to get there? Right? The feeling, what does that do? That creates us to get afraid, to get anxious, to get scared, to get worried, right? To feel like something's wrong. The action would be what? Like in my example, I would jump quickly in my clothes, jump in the car, drive really fast, and I may get there safely, or I may get into a car crash, right? So using the same example, again, let's go back and shift it now that we're in a positive state. The circumstances, oh my God, I'm late for work. What am I thinking? I pause, I do my breathing exercise. I start to feel grateful that I have a job. And I think, you know what? I can do it. I'm okay. I'm on time. I'm on time. I'm on time. What does that happen? What happens? I feel okay. I feel like confident. I can do it. I feel positive, right? The action, I get into my clothes. I walk slowly. I'm feeling confident. I'm in a confident state. I'm driving mindfully. I'm able to focus on the road. I'm able to respect the speed limit. I end up getting there feeling good, feeling like, yes, I can do it. And you would be surprised. You probably look at your watch and you are on time. I've used this so many times. I'm using a generic idea because we all feel like we never have enough time. We all feel like we're late for something, right? But saying to yourself, I'm on time, I've got this, I'm on time, shifts everything. Okay, so you feel free to use this in any way that feels good to you. It is really, really powerful, and it's a summary of everything that we've talked about. Remember that energy follows thought. We can choose the quality of our thoughts. That is what we have control over. Okay. Okay, so this is just some research. If you want to know the research behind gratitude, because some of us like to know, research shows that cultivating gratitude can help you and it can help others in so many ways. You become happier, you have more energy, you become more resilient, you're protected against burnout, you can grow from trauma, you can have stronger relationships. It boosts your motivation and your performance. It builds your character. These are all beautiful things that we all aspire to have and be. It helps us to grow, to become something beyond what we thought was possible, right? Again, we talked about the scenario, research, we talked about how yoga, meditation, breathwork can shift things. These are different studies. If you're curious, you can Google these. You can find the latest research on the methods that work. And then I think we've had enough. Exercise is so important. You know the importance of exercise. Again, incorporating that in your day, 2 to 4 times a day, right? Spinal flexion. And this is some more research that we've done on all this. Okay, so Thank you so much for being attentive. In summary, I just want to give you the summary, which is becoming aware of your behavior shifts and interrupts the mental patterns, right? Interrupts the pattern and it helps you to choose a new way. If you can take one thing from here, it's using the breathing practice, breathing consciously, which helps us to regulate everything, the nervous system, the heart rhythm, the brain function, right? And helps us to move in a much better, proper way. So these are our resources. And thank you so much for being with me. Thank you so much for practicing with me. If you have any questions, you can contact me. I'd love for you to fill out a survey for me. So I'm going to post the survey. And if you fill it out for me, then you get a 30-minute yoga practice from me, just to know how useful was this for you. What would you like to see in the future? And if you're interested in any of my courses and programs, you can check out my website as well. You can reach out to me on Instagram, and I'd love to hear from you. Sometimes I do go on Instagram. I do some Instagram lives and we chat and we do practices and we do some coaching, private, not private, but group coaching on Instagram as much as I can. So again, thank you so much for being here. It's been my pleasure to talk about these things. It's my passion, as you can see, and hope to hear from you soon. So thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Dalal, Dr. Yusuf, for organizing this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Farah, for the very informative and beneficial presentation as usual. Thank you for your great efforts and time. We'd like to send you a certificate of appreciation in recognition of your valuable contribution in this webinar. We would like also thank all the attendees for their attendance. Hope to meet you all again at our upcoming other events.
Inshallah. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye.